Hello, and welcome to your social studies lesson. Today we will be doing an activity that goes along with our lesson about community participation and COVID-19. Do you remember the steps to understanding connections? Let's review them together. Step 1, listen to the lesson. Step 2, how does this apply to school? Step 3, how does this apply to the community? Step 4, how does this apply to the world? Let's start by making a connection to schools. How does our lesson apply to schools? Let's watch this video and find out.
And the state is expected to announce a plan for reopening schools sometime this week. If your child will be going to in-person classes, the governor is requiring face coverings will be worn in the classroom. CBS 17's Crystal Price is in Durham with how the district will be making sure all students are masked up and how parents and students feel about it.
Well, right now, Durham Public Schools is only considering having the K through 8th grade students attend in-person classes. And they're saying that all of those students and staff will be required to wear face masks at all times. Ziasia Davenport is excited to start the 8th grade at Rogers Hare Middle School. And she's hoping she'll get to attend class in person so she can see her friends.
I don't know if I'll be able to see them, and I haven't seen them in a while, so it makes me kind of upset.
And if she does get to go to school in person, she'll have to remember to take a face covering with her to class.
I will feel very comfortable wearing a face mask because it prevents the spread of germs from student to student so that nobody will get sick.
According to the state's mandate, high school and middle school students will be required to wear face coverings at school, both inside and outside, and also on school buses.
We're going to ask students and staff to wear face coverings throughout.
In Durham, spokesperson Chip Sutter says they are planning to take it a step further and require elementary students wear face coverings as well.
We know it's a challenge for our youngest children, but we think it's really important for face coverings to be as widely distributed as possible.
Sutter says they will provide at least 3 cloth face coverings to every student. Some high schoolers like Mason Pickett and James D. Berry may not be going to school in person this fall under Durham's plan.
That was an interesting video that helped us make some connections between schools and what we learned in our lesson. Next, we are going to make connections to our community. Let's watch this video and learn a little bit more about how our lesson connects to our community here in Charlotte.
The latest on the fight over a massive aid package from the federal government. For the second time in 2 days, the bill failed to pass a key procedural vote in the U.S. Senate. We're told negotiations are continuing, and there's a lot of pressure on lawmakers right now to reach a deal. WCNC Charlotte's Kendall Morris joins us now with what local businesses are having to do to get by.
Businesses and restaurants across the Charlotte area, like Central Coffee Company, are having to get creative with their day-to-day operations, just hoping they have enough customers to keep doing business.
Coffee delivery!
Your morning coffee is now being dropped off right at your front door, thanks to Central Coffee Company's pandemic plan for business.
We leave it on their doorstep, send them a text, and it's ready to go.
Hashtag Platinum Card.
While their physical locations are closed, the delivery service is a way to keep them going, hoping they'll be able to open back up as usual after having to let some employees go.
Whenever it's deemed safe enough that we feel that we can get our staff in there, we will open our doors. That's our goal, but we want it to be safe.
They join other restaurants like Potbelly Sandwich Shop that have had to make changes to their operations.
Right now we're doing takeout, delivery, curbside service, and we're still catering.
Now Governor Cooper has ordered hair salons closed by 5 p.m. Wednesday. The owner of Savvy Salon in Day Spa, Cornelius, voluntarily decided to close last Wednesday.
I worry about the people who work for us more than anything. I worry about their livelihoods and how are they going to survive this.
The clerk will call the roll.
And as the Senate debates the massive stimulus package, local businesses are watching closely for themselves and their employees.
We want our staff to be taken care of and make sure they get through this.
Now relying on the community support and creativity
Coffee delivery!
as they wait to see what will happen in Congress. Business owners we spoke to say they are amazed at the community support so far and only hope it continues. Reporting in Plaza Midwood, Kendall Morris, WCNC Charlotte.
That was a great video, and you heard what she said at the end, community support. It is important for us to come together as a community during these times. That's what this whole lesson is about. Next, we are going to make a connection between our lesson and the world. Let's watch this video and see how the rest of the world is dealing with this pandemic.
Wearing a mask out in public has been an uncommon sight in Western countries, but with the COVID-19 outbreak declared a pandemic, such perceptions are largely changing in Europe. Choi Won-jung has the full story.
What are these endless lines of people waiting for? Face mask. After the coronavirus outbreak, people in South Korea are trying to get hold of masks. In South Korea, the government has come up with a new system to relieve the shortage, a so-called the 5-day rotation system, which limits how many masks individuals can purchase per week. Outside of Asia, Italy, the worst hit country in Europe, has already overtaken China with the number of coronavirus deaths and is struggling with a mask shortage. Chang Ana, a Korean-Italian citizen who is currently living in Italy, speaks of how difficult it has been to find masks in local stores.
Here in Italy, the use of masks was not that common as in Asian countries. Italy was not ready to such high demand, and that's why the supply of masks in pharmacies and hospitals were not very prompt.
Do you see more people wearing masks in public now?
Yeah, just a few weeks ago, I think less than 50% of people in the streets were wearing masks. But in the last few days, when I went to go to the supermarket, I saw that almost 90% of people were wearing masks.
However, Italy is not the only country that is dealing with the mask crisis. Kim Ik-jae, a local resident in Germany, said the nation has a critical mask and medical shortage.
We never had a problem with the mask supply because there were no demands for them here. But these days, it's hard to buy them, as well as the hand sanitizers and thermometers.
German health officials told the general public that healthy people should not wear masks and leave them for sick people and medical professionals. Meanwhile, in the U.S., the government explicitly discourages individual mask hoarding. U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams said on his Twitter that people need to stop buying masks and leave them for healthcare providers to protect themselves from the coronavirus. Despite the government's effort to regulate mask shortage, the gap between demand and supply still remains, and a changed public notion on masks is leaving healthcare workers in jeopardy. Choi Won-jung, Arirang News.
That was an interesting video that showed a connection between the world and the lesson that we were learning about. Keep in mind that things are getting better, and we actually have more masks now than we did before. We also know that it's very effective to use a cloth mask. So cloth masks are things that you can make at home. You can buy at Amazon or Etsy, or you can even use a bandana. The important part is that you are covering your mouth and keeping yourself safe and others. Thank you so much for doing this activity with me. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.